Hello everybody, Happy New Year. 2025 starts here for Norwich City. It starts in Luton at Kenilworth Road. It's miserable, it's raining, it's wet. I can see already a big puddle forming in the goal mouth. This is what you want, isn't it, on New Year's Day in the Championship? We are here, of course, to bring you that Norwich City lineup, which will drop in about a minute or so time. Now, this is a very, very, very tight situation that we've got here. I'm basically having to hold my laptop in place or it'll slip. Hopefully that's going to be okay, and hopefully the connection's a bit better than it was last time out. But hey, these are the risks we take to bring you the live broadcasts that we do. Happy New Year to you all. Thanks for all your well wishes. And Paddy, I may cut across you in a second, but this feels like it has all the makings of a difficult championship afternoon already, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Just a look at our home record. I mean, comparison with away, it's night and day. I mean, there's only the top five, I think, and Watford who've won more home games this season than Championship. So while it's a team feeling, and we saw that graphically at Carrow Road recently.
Go on, mate. And here is the lineup for Norwich City. It's Gunn in goal, Stacey, Duffy, Doyle and Crizene as the back four, Nunez, McLean and Slimani as the midfield three, with Marcondes and Sainz either side of Onel Hernandez, who is making his 200th Norwich City appearance this afternoon. So I'll just run through that again. Gunn in goal, Stacey, Duffy, Doyle and Crizene as the back four, Nunez, McLean and Slimani as the midfield three, with Marcondes, we're presuming on the right, Sainz on the left and Onel Hernandez up front. The subs for Norwich City this afternoon: George Long, Grant Hanley, Kellum Fisher, Jose Cordoba, Forson, Cade Gordon, Ashley Barnes, Oscar Schwartau and Ante Sienat. Let's go to that front three, Paddy, because that's interesting.
It's one word for it, Connor, yeah. Troubling for me on first sight. I'm not sure where Marcondes, Sainz and Hernandez is a three. What the thinking is there. Cernach, the fact he's on the bench, there's not a fitness issue, so is it just... he did look a bit leggy, to be fair, the other day, didn't he? I think it was noticeable. He looked like he was on fumes a little bit, so maybe that's a young man, first time playing this sort of schedule over Christmas, I'm sure, and maybe off the back of looking a bit weary, dipping him out with no Sargent. He's clearly not fancying Barnes. I think the writing's on the wall there, so that doesn't leave him too many other options in this current climate. So Hernandez down the middle, Sainz and Marcondes wide right. Was it QPR away? Didn't work. So you'd want to see a little bit more from that. Settled central three. A little bit surprised, if I'm honest, that particularly against their powerful front two, he hasn't gone Cordoba in alongside Duffy and moved Doyle to the right, but he's gone with Crizene again. Stacey for Fisher, yeah, I can kind of see that in this game. But, you know, it can only be managing minutes in terms of Cernach, because the fact he's on the bench, there's clearly no injury there. So, another opportunity for Onel, maybe.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We kind of saw this at QPR, didn't we, when he had all of those midfield options available and he did push Marcondes to the right, and it maybe didn't quite have the desired effects that Norwich City would have wanted. But you would hope, when we've seen Jack Stacey at his best, it's been about a player inverting and providing that space. Against wing-backs, you'd like to think there will be a bit more space both outside but also in those sort of half spaces which Marcondes could hopefully get some joy in.
Well, I mean, he did add something when he came in towards the end on Sunday, and there's no doubt your four best midfielders are in this 11 today, but are they necessarily going to be able to work in a fashion that gives Norwich that control? We know what Luton are going to be all about. I've seen their 11. They've got Morris and Adebayo. It's going to get the ball long, play second balls. So by definition, they're going to try and bypass those technical midfielders for Norwich. That'll probably hold the key to this game and the outcome of this game. If Norwich's three plus Marcondes get on for the ball and control and can set the tempo, as they did against Burnley for that first 60, as they did at first 45 at Sunderland, can they then release, a Sainz and Hernandez? But if it becomes the type of game Luton more often than not have managed to engineer here at Kenilworth Road, your fear is those midfielders are going to get bypassed, and then a lot of attention is going to be on Duffy and his back forward to try and repel a very direct Luton.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people talking about Marcondes on the as a false nine and Hernandez on the right. I just don't see that, purely because I don't see him in a position where he's going to put Stacey and Hernandez in front of each other to start a game. That feels to me like you're going to get a lot of them two taking the same space and whatnot. I don't feel he'll do that. He may well do that, and I might well look silly, but I think that's more likely to be Hernandez through the middle. I don't know your thoughts.
Oh, all day long, yeah. Only because recent body of evidence, that's where he sees him. He's clearly in this current climate, in a sergeantless world, he's not having Barnes. Clearly, more than cameo impact. Had a chat with an official before the game, and again, if there's something can be engineered with him and his future in January, I think they'd quite happily wave goodbye to him. So a bit like Fashnat, maybe not quite as out of the loop as Fashnat was, but Barnes isn't going to be the answer for Giannis Torop. So if it's not Barnes, then it's pretty limited gene pool, really, as your laptop goes, my man.
It's inevitable.
Trying to think what possible other options could he go with, really.
And this underscores the point, doesn't it, about those wide areas in particular, and particularly given after this game, we think we're probably going to be in a world of talking about no-ball science for a relatively prolonged period of time. I mean, that probably exposes where they're at, doesn't it, in terms of wide areas and the importance of this window, which is now open.
Certainly does, yeah. And again, wingers, plural, I think is what they'll be looking at now. With Fashnat gone, that's one body out. Kay Gordon hypothetically goes back to Liverpool, that's another body out before you even start looking at actually adding two. So, yeah, maybe today's lineup from Johannes is just a little nod in the direction of Ben Napper that this is what we're working with at the minute. Come on, Ben, you and your recruitment types. Let's get a few over the line early in the window, because it does underline the paucity of resource they've got, really. If, as it would seem, Barnes and Gordon aren't really players he fancies.
Yeah, indeed, and particularly when you look at that bench, and I think the majority of it is made up by defenders, isn't it? There's sort of talking 3 and a goalkeeper. Yeah, they don't really have any sort of midfield options or beyond Kate Gordon. I know Oscar Schwartau has played there, but it's clear he sees him in one of those central roles moving forward. So it doesn't necessarily scream, that they've got plenty of options from the bench. And with Ashley Barnes, it's going to be interesting to see if he's even making matchday squads when Josh Sargent returns next week to training and hopefully for the Brighton game. But we shall see. I don't know if we are in a position to bring you the Luton lineup as the team sheet. Thank you very much. Come from above. You can bring it there. Have we got a fancy graphic? We do, I think. It's coming. I can see it. So if you can read that, then you'll be able to see some of the names on there. And this is a better look at it. This is how Luton line up today. Kaminsky in goal, Holmes, McGuinness and Bell as their back three. Walters, Krause, Clark and Nelson and Chong as their midfield 5. Obviously, Chong was at left wing back, wasn't he, for the Carrow Road game? And Jack Stacey, I can't remember, it was for Siernatz's goal, got the better of him. He's obviously not a defender. He is a wide player by all accounts. And then that front two that we're very familiar with, Morris and Adebayo up front. And then, Paddy, can you read their bench for me? Because I don't have a team sheet and I'm holding a laptop. So,
yes, my man. We've got very well-known name, Tim Krul, GK, Mads Anderson, Victor Moses, Corley Woodrow, been around a long time now, hasn't he? Marvellous Nakamba, Peli Umpanzu, Jacob Brown, Joe Taylor and Daiki Hashioka.
Yeah, he played Saints very well in the reverse game, so I'm perhaps a little bit surprised that we're not seeing him start this afternoon, because I think he probably dealt with Saints as well as we have seen anyone, albeit Saints started or scored in that game as well. Set pieces then, Paddy, we know they're a big issue. I mean, I kind of expected to see Cordoba here today, purely because of what we discussed about that front two, about how physical this team is. You'd imagine that set pieces are going to be something that they're going to try and thrive off. We know Norwich City's vulnerability, although that being said, Cresene is not the smallest. But I just wondered if he'd maybe favour a bit more sort of aerial prowess in there today for those defensive situations. But he's decided to go with probably athleticism on both flanks in Stacey and Cresene.
Yeah, but my worry is the defensive set-piece element of those two. I don't think either of those are really naturally, they're defenders, obviously, but are they defenders who will go and attack a ball and challenge with an Adebayo and a Morris? A lot of onus on Duffy today, and now Doyle alongside him. I do find it a little bit strange because when you spoke to him yesterday, he was referencing Portsmouth, and the type of game in store today could be very Portsmouth-esque. Well, of course, that night he went Cordoba and Duffy. He had Doyle on the left, and they were very robust defensively. They headed a lot of balls away, those two centre-backs that night. And they got the clean sheet. So why, if you feel it's going to be a Portsmouth-style threat, why wouldn't you go with that back four again? So I am slightly surprised at that, but I guess it's a show of faith in Cresene, and maybe, like we discussed earlier, the selections in the defensive areas are all designed in tandem with the midfielders for Norwich to get control of the game. And as he said to you yesterday in that discussion about defensive set pieces, take it back. Can you stop the throw that you concede? Can you stop the corner you concede before the ball actually gets to that situation? And by doing that, you need to be controlling the ball and controlling the tempo. So maybe on the flip side, he's looking at it as we will be better at defending set pieces if we can control it and limit the amount actually we have to deal with, rather than we'll put a Cordoba in alongside Duffy and we'll basically just sit on the edge of our 6-yard box and head balls away, because you would fear with that approach they're probably at some point going to get breached. So we'll see. But my fear would be if Norwich don't establish that control and it becomes a game where Luton dictate the flow of the ball and the deliveries into the Norwich box, sadly the body of evidence this season is that this group of players won't be able to resist.
Yeah, I mean, and the flip side of that, though, I do see Norwich getting some joy from an attacking perspective with both of those guys, because you think about back three, the spaces in those wide areas, Marcondes and Sainz, you have to think are going to drift inside. Hernandez gives you a threat in behind. I think there could be some space available on each flank behind those wing-backs. Chong, as we've seen already at Carrow Road, isn't the most defensively minded. On that right side against Jack Stacey, you'd like to think there's a little bit of joy. Walters is typically a centre-back by trade. So, again, I think on both sides there may well be some joy to be had for Norwich City if they can work and impose their game on that sort of attacking side of things. I'm trying to work out who this is in front of the Norwich away end who's getting applause. It's someone, isn't it? Not quite sure who that is. We'll try and work that out. But
he's over. Is it?
Not Tim. No, Timple's out for his warm-up, I think. So
he's over there.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. If you're in the away end and you'd like to tell us who that is, please do. But they got a big old applause from the Norwich fans anyway. It's not Torup, is it? It is Torup. There you go. It is Torup. Yeah. He's sporting a very nice gilet today, rather than perhaps the casual wear. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, irrespective of what Norwich do today, it can't be any worse than that 3 at the back they played under Dean Smith here on our last visit.
Well, we're very close to the pitch side here in our press box, and the sad troop from sort of the halfway line back this way towards the dugout, the tunnel, and all the Norwich fans. Yeah, we got some. Well, they're great frames because they tell a story that was about to unfold, which was, within hours he was gone as Norwich head coach. But that was a walk I'm sure he didn't enjoy that night, and they were bad that night, weren't they? But yeah, well, you were saying, I mean, even in the good times, Kenilworth Road's been a bit of a unhappy hunting ground. So.
Yeah, I mean, the two teams haven't played each other that often. Norwich have lost the last 2 here. I think the last win came from. You remember Simon Lappin scored that free kick?
It's a long time ago.
It was a very long time ago, and that stand wasn't a thing. But interestingly, the dynamics of where we're sat at Kenilworth Road, I'm not going to move my laptop because I risk pulling connections out and all sorts, but just where you see that orange bar that is the director's box. That is how close we are to the people who will be making the decisions that matter at Norwich City. So I remember Adam's giving you a little... that's the view of Kenilworth Road, you can see. So it is a tight ground. I thought it was interesting, Yannis speaking about the size of the pitch being smaller and how they've had to adapt to that a little bit as well. And I guess all of that adds to maybe the preparation for this game, because it does feel like one that it's going to be about how well Norwich can build up compared to what we're expecting to be an aggressive, high-pressing Luton team, particularly here at Kenilworth Road, where they have been so strong.
I think your earlier point is spot on in the sense of, and he's explained this before, most recently might have been Sunderland actually, why Stacey and not Fisher, because he feels Stacey is better in the final third, better getting to the byline, better getting balls into the box. And in the system that they're going to play with a 3, and Chong, who I think is more aggressively minded than defensively, as he improved at Carrow Road, yeah, if they can work Stacey into those advanced areas, then they should get some joy. And likewise, Kraseni, although it's not maybe he's not as naturally attack-minded as Stacey, but again, for me, it just comes down to can McLean,
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, John. That's a very kind comment. Sorry, I was just getting not related to me. I don't know if they're related to you, but I presume not. But thank you very much. It's very kind.
I think they've been on the carver there. I think they've been on the carver. Thank you anyway. But
thanks, Andy.
But yeah, no. The midfield 3 for me is the key today. If Nunes, McLean, and Slimani can get enough of the ball, then you're keeping Luton at arm's length in terms of defensively, your structure there. But you're also probably going to be able to release a Stacey, release a Kraseni. Be good if it was Sainz's last game for a while, if he came to the party and just reminded us what he's all about. But yeah, for me, it's what Luton are going to be about. can we still say this far into a tore-up season what we know what Norwich are about and what they'll produce week in, week out? We can't, unfortunately. They've been far too inconsistent. So really, all bets are off in terms of the outcome today, I think.
Which leads us on beautifully to me about to ask you how you see this going in that case. It feels like quite a testing one. We know Norwich City's record on the road, no win in 8. Their last win was at Derby in October.
Here comes Thorpe.
Yeah, he can come on and explain his team news. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah. How do you see it going?
I better wait till he goes out of earshot. But I fear Luton might just probably edge this just because they're very good at home. They're a very straightforward team in that sense. You know what they're about. But I've looked at the league table and they're banging trouble still. I'm a little bit surprised Rob Edwards is still in charge because after the Carrow game, remember he went over to acknowledge the away fans and he got a lot of stick. I think there's been a few comments since which probably was sailing a bit close to the wind in his media. So it's not a happy camp. It would seem from the outside looking in. But for me, it's can Norwich deal with a very physical, direct threat? And on the body of evidence this season, they haven't been able to withstand that pressure. They did it at Portsmouth, to be fair, but and obviously at the top end of the pitch, can any of us reasonably say what Sainz, Mocondes and Hernandez are going to produce? We can't really, can we? So, yeah, probably Luton maybe edging it 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 Luton, I think. And sadly, I feel we may be talking about set pieces again come the final whistle. But let's hope, obviously, this is all reverse psychology, of course, and hopefully Norwich City can pick up a result. But we're basing that obviously on the context of their away form and Luton's home form, which has been very strong. But who knows? It's a new year. You have new resolutions, so hopefully they can make their away form one. Right, a couple of quick ones before we go, Paddy, because someone asked about Mateo Jurasek. Any update?
Answer that question, mate.
Well, that was going to be my second one. So we will come back to Jonathan and your question at the moment. Let's start with Sam. Any update on Mateo Jurasek?
No, not as far as we're aware. Still has yet to board a plane for Norfolk, so that tells you it's still at the conversation stage, but nothing imminent. No.
Lovely. And Pinkham Forum.
3-1 Luton. Nick says. Pinkham Forum. Yeah, I think we said it was on here before QPR. As you were, the IT types have come back off their Christmas holidays. We know that much, but as yet not resolved. But it's in their basket of things to do. Sadly, nothing to do with us directly. Otherwise, we would have certainly tried to rectify it by now. And we apologise for the continuing inconvenience of that. But hopefully, you'll bear with us as it's the festive period, and not everybody is as committed to the job as us, Connor, and working day in, day out, and every hour. So hopefully, by where are we? Coventry, it'll be resolved. But it's not been pulled. The plug hasn't been pulled.
I'm enjoying some of the conspiracies.
Nothing untoward. It's simply somebody's forgot to do something or pay a bill or something, and it's gone offline. But until we're told different, we expect it to go back online. So but not ideal as we know. But you can still contact us through these various other mediums, and I don't know. Trying to think what else is the alternative to the forum, really.
Q&As and all
Q&As, X.
Yeah,
whatever, yeah.
All the big ones.
Yeah. So no, it's all in hand, hopefully, but sadly, as it's not directly in our wheelhouse, we can't say exactly when it'll be done.
Yeah, so please bear with us on that, and hopefully, as Paddy says, as people return from holiday, we will get it fixed and plugged in and find some 50p down the back of the sofa or something to get it back in business. But do bear with us. That was a joke, by the way, before anyone jumps on that.
That's probably more like it.
Yeah. So there we go. Right, we'll leave it there. Happy New Year to you all. Thank you, obviously, for those who left nice comments. Thank you for those watching and interacting. We enjoy doing these shows, and we're looking forward to doing them throughout the rest of 2025. Let's hope Norwich City can start the year with a victory for the first time since a 1-0 win over Barnsley in 2021. That would be nice. See you soon. Thanks for watching.